This is a Michigan snapping turtle. It's not moving, and it's not going to move. It's a mountain turtle, but when they're alive, you don't want to get your hand near their head. What you want to do is pick them up by the tail. Believe it or not, there are some people who have learned to grab a snapper by the tail when they're in the mud. Scott Ponce is one of those fellows, a guy who I give lots of moral support in this endeavor. We have coming up for you another subject which might be grabbing a turtle by the tail, tackling the Department of Natural Resources. Representative Tom Alley is going to talk about his bills on splitting the DNR. We have a great turtle soup recipe and a lot more, so stay tuned. I'm Fred Trost. It's Thursday night, time for Michigan Outdoors.
Well, we think the turtle is right up in here. Oh, I don't know, something's moving. Just hold still. I am going to hold still. Oh. Okay, he just...
Snapping turtles are dangerous. Nobody argues that. But Scott Ponce from Leroy catches them with his hands underwater by grabbing their tails. He wanted to teach me how to do it.
Okay, now these paths through here, are these turtle paths or...?
The wider ones going up through our turtle paths, but there's also the ducks go up through there. They come off the river and up and through here and go back through and then back on the river again. And
of course, that's where the turtles wait to ambush the ducks.
Yep, they're ambushing them, yeah. The only bad thing about this pothole, right in here, if they're in here, it's too deep and sinky, and right here, we got to get them on this edge and up through here because this is too deep. A lot of times they'll head to here. We've got to get them before they get here. We've got a little channel coming right through, and we've got to cut them off before they get here.
Now, so we're not going to go in this way?
No, we're going to go around over here, and we'll get a better look at it. We'll try to get him up, and we'll get closer to him is what we'll do.
So you figure that turtle is staying there?
Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. He's up again. There he is. He moved too.
He's up again.
He's just to the right of that stick. The tip of that stick.
Uh-huh.
Just go to the right, and you see a little open channel like where the ducks go through.
Yeah.
And you can just see his nose. We'll get closer. We'll get closer. They're hard to see. You got to know it. A lot of times I use it.
Watch for the tips of their noses to poke above the water. Or you can attract their attention like Scott does, imitating an animal struggling in the water.
They must think it's a duck, the only thing I can think of. You know, they think it's a meal, and they're trying to see where it is so they can either wait or... Sometimes I've seen them come right at, come toward the noise, doing it more open water.
Well, you want to give it a shot?
There's a snap. There's a big one, yeah. Turn right around. You'd see this one. He's a pretty good... See, he's moving his head. You see it move right there. He moved to the right. That's a pretty good turtle.
Oh, there I saw some of the water move, yeah.
The water just come off his neck, yeah. That's a pretty good snapper right there. So we're going to be real touchy trying to get him.
Now, he pulled his head down fast, didn't he?
Yeah. Usually they don't. But there ain't no pain in a guy head that big. Mm-hmm. He's a big one. They generally get on slower.
And how deep of water is he in, do you think?
See the bubbles. He's moving. The bubbles are coming up. You see the bubbles coming up. He's moving toward the right. If he goes to the right, that's better because it's deep. He's in... We'll get wet. I'll get wet getting him. You got waders on, but we can go in and try him. See, he's moving to the right. You see all the bubbles going. Mm-hmm. She's just... That's better. Let him go to the right because it's shallower.
This turtle might be too deep, so we slip into a shallow area where we saw another snapper's nose a few minutes ago. Scott probes with a stick, trying to find the thunk of a turtle shell in the mud. Now, I provide the invaluable service of remaining calm and watching for bubbles that would let us know if the turtle is trying to scurry away.
And if he goes, just stand still.
Starting to get nervous now. I really am feeling these sticks in here. This is not as...
The best thing to do is let him, if he does go, is just let him go. And just hopefully he goes that way.
What's this? Is that it? Okay. Is that it?
He's going. Here
okay.
Goes.
Yep.
Sit still. Whoa.
Sit still.
Right here. He's right between my legs.
Right up in there?
Something. Let's you move. Something hit me.
No, I didn't move.
He's right here.
And I'm not about to move.
Did you see him go?
Yeah, I saw him.
We gotta find him.
Here, right back here. Right back here. Oh, there, yep. Missing it, huh?
Yes.
He's keeping ahead of you.
He's going that deep water. I got it up here. It's too deep.
He may have...
He stopped right here.
He may have come up in here. I saw some bubbles up in here.
See, I got it. That's why I tried to get ahead of him. It's too deep right. See, that's why I said he tried to go to the deep water. He's down by a little log right here. Come on.
Now, he might be in a snapping mode now, huh?
Yeah, he'd be mad. Just be...
There are bubbles all around here where, I guess just from where we've walked. Well, we think the turtle is right up in here. Oh, I don't know, something's moving.
Hold still.
I am gonna hold still.
Can you feel it now? Am I doing that?
Is that you?
Yeah, I'm moving around right here.
Oh, okay. I feel better now. Okay. He moved the log, it scared me.
Okay.
Are you still moving it? No, it's under here! Jeez!
Which way?
I don't know, but it's behind me here.
Hold still.
Oh,
Okay, hold
that was not the log you were moving. It was behind me here.
still. Okay.
I have all of a sudden lost my...
Hold still. Let me see if I can find it. Just stand right still.
I am. Was that it? No, that's him! That's him! Because he moved, he's right behind me.
I'm on a log here.
No, he is behind us.
Okay.
He's underneath.
Okay, yeah, he's down in the mud. Let me try to hook him.
Yes, please hook him. Oh. You got him. Okay, the turtle is here. Okay, let me step back here. No, go ahead, do what? What, did he bite you? You got him? Oh, I don't, this is beginning to, I don't know if that's him or what. You have one under your foot? Oh, this is more exciting than I thought it was going to be.
Look at my wife over there.
Oh,
Yeah, I got him.
so you have one
Yeah,
under your foot.
I'm standing on it. I'm going to try to find out. He's a good one.
Fine.
Yeah, he's good. He's right down at the log, too.
What are you feeling? You got his tail. We got his tail. I say we got his tail.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, man. Oh, he was down in the mud.
Oh, he was.
Oh, look at that. Oh, Scott. Here. No. Congratulations. Oh, boy.
Oh, sucker kept trying to bite me.
Yeah.
Watch the hooks on him.
Yeah, I am. Oh, look at that. Yeah, he snapped at the stick. Yes, sir. Oh, he's not going to want to let go of this. Well, let's take him back in. A job well done, Scott. Oh, I don't know if I have the heart for it.
Where did you mark that big one? It's still there.
Wow. This is something else. Oh, man. That's it. We'll hold him up there for John to show him.
Kids, I want to remind you this is not something you want to try at home. Scott Ponce has a way with snapping turtles. Hopefully, they'll never have their way with him. The trick is, if you want to learn how to do it like Scott Ponce, do like I'm doing. Get a mounted turtle and practice. I figure 5 or 10 years of practice like this and I'll be able to do it right out there in the marsh with him. But you know, something easier to catch, well, I don't know that much easier these days, but salmon. We have a great trophy book with all kinds of salmon. The coloration isn't there, but it's called a pink salmon, the smallest of our Great Lakes salmon species. This 21-incher is a master angler. It weighed 3 pounds, 1 ounce, was caught casting a spoon by Ben Knoll of Portage in the St. Mary's River. Jason Scarrod from Ashley caught this 4 pound, 7 ounce pink salmon trolling a spoon in Lake Huron. Arthur Waldrop from Mount Clemens caught this huge pink salmon, 4 pounds, 8 ounces, 22 1/4 inches long from the St. Mary's River, also trolling a spoon. Now here's a coho salmon, one of our few fishing award entries in this category, 13 pounds, 4 ounces, caught by Bill O'Donnell from Westland, trolling a GW spoon in Lake Huron. He was fishing out of Oscoda on Steve Pazlaski's boat. Chinook, or king salmon, are the biggest of our Great Lakes salmons. This 39-incher weighed 27 pounds. Dave Loss from Detroit caught it off Manistee. Keith Whitford from Three Rivers caught his 27-pounder near the Straits of Mackinac. This 29-pound king was taken by Phil Morrison from Midland, casting a Clio off the pier at Manistee. Dan Gratch from Grand Blanc took his 29-pounder on a Dodger and squid trolling off Manistee in August. Great photo of this 29.5-pound king, caught on a grizzly plug off Manistee by Danny Keene from Swartz Creek. Trolling a silver streak near Grand Traverse Bay, Scott Livingston from Flushing caught this 29 3/4-pound king, a wee bit over 30 pounds. Look at this one, his honker caught on a Hottentot in the Pere Marquette River by Jeff Wagner from Pentwater. Mike Frank from Novi was trolling a jointed bomber in Tawas Bay. Caught this 40-inch, 31-pounder. And look at this, nearly 32 pounds. At 38 inches, it's a hefty king. Ed Patton from St. Clair Shores caught it off Presqu'île County in Lake Huron. And finally, off Harrisville in Lake Huron, this 41-inch king salmon was taken by Karl Krzyzewski, who had a particularly good day on the water.
I decided to put one spoon down, a silver streak, and this guy decided to hit it. This was a male, by the way. You know, it's a pretty big male. Then I got it near the boat, and my sister Sandra was with me, and she was all ready to net it. She saw how big it was, and she says, "Whoa, if I lose this fish, he's going to throw me overboard." So she didn't want to net it. Well, luckily my dad was on board, which he's a notoriously bad netter, but he did an excellent job on this one, so we got him in. But, we got him at about 8 o'clock, and the fish were hitting so well, we didn't come in till about 2. We ended up with 14.
Oh man, that's fishing like the good old days. He gives us hope for more like it, which is why Karl Krzyzewski is our Michigan Outdoors Trophy Salmon Angler of the Week. The North Ottawa Rod and Gun Club is holding a hunter safety class this weekend in Grand Haven. Agriculture and Natural Resources Week offers a lot of wildlife-related seminars this weekend on the MSU campus, including the Wild Turkey Workshop at Wells Hall on Saturday. The Michigan Wildlife Habitat Foundation's annual art festival is at the Radisson in Southfield all weekend. Spicer's Boat City Boat Show continues through Sunday in Houghton Lake. The Saskatchewan Bowhunters Annual Banquet is Saturday night. It might be a little far for you to travel, but I'll be the after-dinner speaker. I'm looking forward to meeting all of our sportsman friends up there in Saskatoon. The Detroit Steelheaders hold their fishing show this weekend at the Dearborn Civic Center. Williams Gunsight in Davison has a reloading clinic this Saturday. Should be interesting. There are 3D archery shoots this weekend in Langsburg and at the Western Wayne County Conservation Association in Plymouth Township. MTA trap shoots are this Sunday in Union Lake, in Mason, in Kalamazoo, Linden, Alma, and Muskegon. Next Thursday, the Huron Valley Wild Turkey Federation chapter is holding a workshop in Warren, and Saturday, April 13th, chefs Mike Castelloot, Pat McGuire, and John McKenzie will be working together on the Wild Game Buffet for our Foundation Banquet in Lansing. May 18th, there's a wild game dinner at Pat McGuire's Papa Bears in Luzerne, and don't forget our outdoor fair the last weekend in June in Houghton Lake. The big controversy over this past deer season has brought to light the fact that our DNR wildlife, fisheries, and law enforcement divisions are short-staffed. Now, this was a result of all the politics during the Blanchard years, but Representative Tom Alley is the guy in the legislature who's spearheading the crusade to split the DNR, create a fish and game agency. You're going to hear more about Tom Alley in the months ahead, and we thought it was high time we got acquainted with him here on Michigan Outdoors.
Well, let me say that my father was a trapper and brought me up and started the Sportsman's Club in Pinconning back in the 1940s and 50s. And I grew up hunting and fishing. It was my lifestyle, my father's lifestyle, my brother's lifestyle, and unfortunately I don't do enough of that anymore. But that's how we came. I'm from the Pinconning West Branch area, so hunting and fishing was kind of like our game. When I came into the legislature, I began to feel like I had a position to do some things. And I began to see that the Department of Natural Resources was heading away from hunting, fishing, conservation, recreation issues and towards more environmental. That was good for the environment. But on the other hand, over a number of years, I saw that the department took time away from the lifestyle of hunters and fisher people who really cared about their sport. And we're getting less and less time on the agenda of the Natural Resources Commission, less and less money appropriated for their programs, and more and more user-pay concept, less general fund dollars for lifestyle in Michigan. At that point in time, it began in 1983 to pursue this further and begin to ask for a split of the department, to create a new department or split it up. Since that time, we've fought for that in many different avenues. But I think now the time is ripe. The public is beginning to come on board, associations, the membership of your group, for instance, the fact that you're now providing a forum in the public is really helping everyone a lot to focus attention on this matter. And I'm really pleased that you're doing the work you're doing.
Well, you have introduced bills virtually every year, haven't you, to split the DNR?
That's correct. I've had bills in every single year, or had someone sponsor them for me to maybe get a movement in a different direction, but I started in 1983.
But what happened? Why didn't they move?
The timing. We didn't have enough people supporting it. I know you've shown me your stack of letters that you have, over 750 letters of your viewers writing in asking for that. Now it's beginning to become of a real importance. People are seeing what's going to happen. We must do this now.
So your bill, a worry that I had about your bill was that it really wouldn't split it, and we'd get the same thing we got where conservation officers would still have all these duties. We just have two commissions. I mean, I have this fear of a safety valve, that this is just like a task force or something that is designed to appease hunters.
Well, let me tell you what's really getting to nuts and bolts of what's going on then. We've taken different approaches in the past years, and they haven't worked. So we said this time my approach was 2 separate commissions and 2 separate budgets, so we can see where the responsibilities are. 1 commissioner, okay, to handle, be the head of each commission, to 1 environment, 1 on hunting, fishing, fin, fur, and feather stuff. Okay, 1 director to oversee both those commissions and to handle those issues. We've also put a bill in to say they must create and administer for hunting and fishing, a czar, you might say, to handle those things, so people can look at that person to be their advocate within the department. Okay. Now, there are other avenues we can look at. We can also look at creating a 20th department, a Michigan EPA, to take the environmental matters. In other words, everything that needs a dual permit, a permit for like wetlands from Michigan and a permit from the EPA or from the Army Corps of Engineers, if you need a dual permit, then everything goes in that program, and the conservation stays where it was. It comes back to what we used to know it as. Okay, that's one way to handle things. And the other way is, of course, to take all the current environmental matters and divisions and put them back in public health, which were transferred over from 1972 or 74 Milliken. So we've got 3 avenues now. 1 is internal split. Secondly is to take the environmental divisions and put them in public health. And third is to create a new department. We're going to go on what we would call a road show in Michigan, crossing the state, listening to people and their concerns, and going ahead and saying, hey, what do you think? What do you want? I think at that time we can, working with the people, come up with a consensus that's good for the state of Michigan, and a consensus, and then we'll make a decision as to what legislation we want to do. And I think that's the way to approach it. We've got 3 basic ideas. I'm not going to tell the people, okay, here's what's best for you, because honestly, I'm not sure. All I know is that we need to change the direction of the department. Not that it's a bad direction, that some people, though, our people that we know as personal friends, the lifestyles of people for hunting and fishing, they're getting shortchanged. And I don't care what David Hale says, they're getting shortchanged.
Great. Now you just got probably 50,000 people maybe who are out there who are really excited. They're saying, this man, Representative Valley, I want to help. What can I do? What can these sportsmen do? I mean, they are ready. What can they do to help you with this?
First of all, I think it's important that they write letters to the new governor. Okay? We've got all kinds of problems in Michigan right now, but let's get away from the budget. Let's get away from all the other problems and talk about what we're really concerned about. That's hunting and fishing and other sports issues. Write letters to the governor asking him to be forceful in seeing that something is done. The governor, I don't believe, has made up his mind yet what he wants to do with that department. I think he wants to do something. I've been told by his staff he wants to do something, but he's not sure. Now is the time to pour letters into his office on an issue away from the budget, something that he really can put some influence into. Okay? I don't think that he is really has to spend a lot of time right now on this issue to write to him. Secondly, they've got to find out who their own representative and senator is and pound on that person's door.
Okay, with their desire to have hunting and fishing represented, maybe back to the conservation department concept.
Yes, to ask for something to be done to give the hunting and fishing interest of Michigan the proper due respect that they've been losing the last couple of years. Okay, and the people in the department are trying very hard, I think. Many of the people that we know in the department are career people who care about hunting and fishing, want to do the right thing. But because of the environmental matters, because of the money and the power that the department has with regarding the environment, the other end of it is getting shortchanged.
Amen. And more power to Tom Alley with his legislative hearings. Charlie Keenan and I will both be a part of those hearings, participating on behalf of the Outdoors Club. We'll keep you posted. Now, we also want to keep you well fed, and that's Kathy Beitler's department.
We received a recipe from Maria for Maria's turtle soup, and it is an excellent one.
We also received from Scott.
Yes, exactly. Turtle is really strange. You can't tell what part of the turtle it comes from.
Where it begins or ends.
Right,
It is an odd-looking meat when the skeleton is left in it.
And there's so many different colors to it, really. There's white meat and dark meat, and they do have a different flavor to them. And this recipe, you're just going to go ahead and put this in Bisquick just to coat it a little bit, and then fry the pieces.
You boiled that first.
Right, it's boiled
basically.
first, and then you're going to fry them. And you just want to get a coating on them is what you want to do.
Now, a lot of people taking a young turtle will cook it up this way, even on the bone.
Right.
I've heard of that.
Right.
And just like fried chicken or
Yep.
something. And
It's
very
supposed to
tasty
be.
that way.
And the rest of this soup is just your potatoes, chicken broth, nature seasons, onion, and peas and carrots, just a bag of frozen ones, evaporated milk, and Velveeta cheese. And I think the
Those
cheese
poor
gives
people
it.
who tried to write that down, Kath. Yes. They're going to have to send for the digest.
Yes, it's quite a few ingredients. And then you just go ahead and put the fried turtle into it, and that's it.
It is a recipe that caught my fancy. Of course, will Bob Garner notice all of these different flavors of meat?
But you know, that's the funny thing about turtle is turtle tastes like so many other meats. You know, they talk about 7 different kinds of meat in a turtle. But you can get a piece in here that tastes like chicken, or a piece that tastes like beef, or a piece that even tastes like pork. Delicious.
I think it tastes real good in this recipe.
But I think with this recipe, you could use beef, pork,
right.
chicken, or anything, and it would
Right.
be absolutely delicious.
But you know, turtle doesn't have the flavor of beef. I mean, like it doesn't jump out
right.
at you.
It's not
you
a
know,
grabber.
it's more mild.
And
I like it.
It's really a lot more delicate. It's not fishy or shellfish delicate, but it's just a softer, easier, tamer meat. Of lack
Sort of
of
like
better
a dark
term.
meat seafood.
It is.
Seafood drumstick or something like that.
No, I could eat as much of this as I could seafood.
What do you like? How do you like the cheese in it? I like that cheesy flavor.
I like cheese.
Oh, I love it.
I like any of the cheeses and the vegetables. Absolutely remarkable. Fresh vegetables, beautiful.
I guess that's it. It gets an A on every count.
A+.
Maria's Turtle Soup is an excellent cheesy vegetable soup that you could easily make with chicken, or better yet, cooked turkey. A complete list of ingredients is in the March-April issue of the Outdoor Digest magazine. This issue has an article on fishing ice out for walleye and pike. See the thrills of grabbing snapping turtles by their tails and the dangers of bear watching. How to solve the problem of glare in your glasses outdoors. Oz Warbach's informative way of teaching wild turkey behavior. How I built my bolt-action rifle at the Savage Factory, and a lot more. For a sample copy and information on joining the Outdoors Club, write to me at Box 1000, Bath, Michigan 48808, and ask for the March-April Outdoor Digest. Well, for our guide report, what do you want first? Good news or bad news? Bad news? Okay, bad news is ice is leaving. Semi-good news is in the north part of the state, we do have some. Houghton Lake has had 8 inches of ice. I just saw a car there the day before yesterday, several cars on the ice. Don't expect that it's going to hold through the weekend. Tawas has 12 inches of ice in that area. Alpena area, Fletcher's floodwaters, 24 inches, 6 inches on the west side of the northern lower. We got 24 inches of ice on Muskong Bay with 1 inch of snow. Not much snow around Escanaba. Bay de Noc has 24 inches of ice. 30 inches on Lake Gogebic. This area, there is some snow on the west side of the state, but the bad news is don't expect that this is really good stuff. Now, the good news is the fishing underneath this ice is tremendous. Take a look at this. Crooked Lake, they're getting 9 to 13 inch perch, getting lake trout limits up in the Keweenaw. 240 feet of water. They're getting, some perch in Muskong Bay, limits of perch in Bay de Noc, 5 to 10 inches on wigglers and 4 to 10 feet of water. They're getting some steelhead, 4 to 5 pounders around Charlevoix, also over in Alpena, 9th Street Dam. Limits of crappie, Fletcher's floodwaters up to a foot. Perch 10 to 13 inches. Limits. Perch off Tawas, they're getting 12 to 14 inches at the state docks. Suckers are starting to run. Bluegill limits at Houghton Lake, 8 to 10 inches, but don't expect that to hold. Amaldine is catching 3 to 4 steelhead per trip. They're getting steelhead and suckers at the Pentwater River. Few sporadic walleye down here in the Detroit River area, but it's not going to hold. At least the ice won't, so be careful. Get outdoors if you can. It's a great place to be. See you next week.